Quai Paris, where we inadvertently split up. The lights changed so quickly that keeping 10 scooters together was virtually impossible. Altogether, we spent over 3.5 hours in Paris, and John Horsey and John Newton were not seen again till evening. Paris motorway, and not a petrol pump for 23 miles. This is what happens when people try to run their scooters on air. Talk about scroungers. One of those air, but the temperature here was over 70. After 218 miles we were glad to get there and join the two lost Johns. An after-dinner stroll. Filthy British tourist. Monday morning and farewell to Auxerre. Entente cordiale, Pat's version. We still didn't get it cheaper though. Blanket giving the usual assistance. Our first stop in Switzerland is the fashionable lakeside city of Geneva. Is Lausanne, one of the swankier resorts. And this is Montreux, a little farther along the lake shore. Today is market day. And who should we run into but the ONSEC? Ah, this one does suit Monsieur. That's right, Jonathan, you're on candid camera. The Rhone Valley, en route to Brig, a typical Swiss town at the foot of the Simplon Pass. The nightlife here was quite lively. Ask John Lem. The ascent of the Simplon Pass or Passo di Sempione. It is perhaps the best known of the Alpine passes and almost certainly the oldest, being used by Hannibal in his campaign against the Romans. The pass rises to just over 6,300 feet and once formed the border between France and Piedmont. In summer, it is densely populated, but in winter, it is closed and lies under several feet of snow. We found the carburation slightly difficult over about 5,000 feet, but we still had no trouble at all in climbing it. This is now the descent of the Simplon Pass. It's getting a lot warmer now, and just ahead lies the Italian border and the inevitable customs. Milan is the second largest city in Italy and has a population of over 1.5 million. Its most famous landmark is Il Duomo, which boasts some 135 spires. Started in the 13th century, legend has it that a nail from the Holy Cross is incorporated in its structure. This unimposing looking building is the most famous of all opera houses, La Scala. The place our scooters were made, the world-famous Innocenti factory in Lambrate, a suburb of Milan. It's not too hard to work out from that how the scooter got its name. Also visiting are several coach parties, and here we see some members fraternizing with the female of the species. I know what you're thinking, Pat. I wouldn't mind either. Until 1948, this factory, then a minute fraction of its present size, made iron pipes. It is now one of the world's most modern factories, and here are made several thousands of the world's best scooters every year, besides the BMC 1100 and the Austin Healey Sprite, the last two under license, of course. This really is automation. A complete scooter comes off the line every 32 to 50 seconds, depending on demand. This road is much used by the Milanese at weekends, being the main road to Lake Como. Today, being Wednesday, we had the road pretty well to ourselves. This short hold-up is at the border between Italy and Switzerland. Charming little town of Lugano on Lake Lugano, and here some of the boys went in for a very welcome swim. Back in Italy yet again, at the centre of the silk industry at Menaggio on Lake Como. And this is what the locals manage without Brand X. panoramic view of Chiavenna, and this is our hotel, the Ristorante Crimea. Trying to translate or speak the local lingo, he's just a blinking idiot. What a lovely scene. Look at those lovely palm trees and, oh, that's ruined it. They've got 30 scooters as well. One thing, there's no breathalyzer in this country. There are a boozy load of layabouts in our club. After the Maloja and Ofen passes, we come to Velkava, typical of Swiss villages off the main tourist routes. Clean, unspoilt, and completely uncommercialized. These small boys seem to find our Lambertas very much a novelty. Is the 8,400-foot Umbriel Pass. Yet again in Italy, the 9,100-foot Stelvio Pass, with its 48 hairpins on the descent. And now, a tiddler of a pass, the mere 4,400-foot Rechen Pass, typical Tyrolean scenery, Arlberg Pass, where we go into the Vorarlberg. John is the one with the crash helmet on. Being well ahead of schedule, we stopped for a longish break at Bludenz, the capital of the Austrian Vorarlberg. We might have been rather short of women on this trip, but certainly not of food. One thing we noticed in Bludenz, there were certainly a lot of odd-looking characters walking about. The tiny Principality of Liechtenstein, and from his castle the prince overlooks his capital of Vaduz, a great favourite with our own royal family. Some of the local hormone-provoking talent. You must forgive the cameraman, he hasn't seen a goal for at least 10 seconds. They're followed by 4 more, and they're followed by, "Hey, come back you filthy British tourists." In the Wilhelm Tell country, having just climbed the 7,900-foot Klausen Pass. Sobering thought, we hadn't seen one apple tree. This is Switzerland's second largest city, Lucerne, which boasts a unique wooden bridge. This is the English seaside resort of Interlaken. Well, there are so many English people about, we could easily be mistaken. This is Bert doing his usual job of hotel hunting. Note the national costumes. The reason for this is today is Swiss National Independence Day. Interlaken is dominated by the 13,000-foot plus Jungfrau. We did intend visiting it by rail, but the national holiday put paid to our plans. Some of us went as close as possible by scooter, while the others went swimming. The more idiotic of us decided to try a spot of mountain climbing, one of the many hazards. Keep going, lads, there aren't many of us left. Our cameraman risked his reputation taking these shots.
Der was ein Schwein, ich hatte Film down.
Well done, Pat Sherpa 20 Singh. He's twice the man. Truly a peak performance. A visit of the White Horse Lamberta Club is naturally a big occasion for celebration, so see the show the Swiss put on for us. Is virtually over, although we have 2 more nights on foreign soil. We are now off to Neuchâtel, the centre of the watchmaking industry. Here, John Sykes baked hard to avoid the Citroën, but only succeeded in pulling away the road surface. And these are 2 good Samaritans, British of course, who gave John a welcome cup of tea. Well, the Continentals might have been miserable when we arrived, but they were certainly happy when we left. So it's farewell to those filthy British tourists.